Our next induction is Mr. Maury Meyer, and presenting will be Dan Anderson.
Good evening. My name is Dan Anderson. I would like to start by congratulating all of tonight's inductees, your friends, and your families. It is an honor to share this evening with all of you here tonight. I find myself very fortunate. Not only do I have two beautiful daughters, I have also had the opportunity to coach and learn from two of tonight's inductees, Wes Tessman and Maury Meyer. It is my privilege to present Maury Meyer to you. Tonight, I will share two stories that will help define his character. I met Maury for the first time in 1999. That same year, I remember going to a triangular where a wrestler from another team had a clear case of ringworm. To my amazement, the wrestler checked in at the head table, and Maury, without hesitation, forfeited to the wrestler. He refused risking his wrestler getting infected. It showed me that winning is not everything. In 2003, after 26 years of being the head wrestling coach, Maury gave me the reins to the Albany wrestling program. Maury became the athletic director at Albany High School, and he was my assistant and mentor for 5 years. During my first year as head coach, Albany wrestled in a tournament in Malacca. Yes, Randy Zimmer, you were there because your JV beat our varsity. Maury's son Matt was the varsity 171-pounder. During a duel not against Malacca, after a match in which Matt lost, his headgear slipped out of his hand because, according to Matt still as of Monday, that was a defective chin strap, and it went flying against the wall. A team point was deducted, and by my team rules, Matt had to sit out of the next match. Maury basically told me, you do what you need to do, and don't make any exceptions for my son. That is the kind of person Maury Meyer was and still is today. Maury, and Kenny Vo would argue this maybe, we'll talk about that later. Maury in all his years of coaching never put winning first. Maury loved to win as much as the next person, but winning never interfered with his ability to instill good behaviors and habits in his wrestlers. The integrity that Maury possesses to this day still amazes me. I present to you a man of integrity, Maury Meyer.
First of all, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to beat that buzzer. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for those kind words. This is a special and memorable day for me, and I feel very privileged to be here. Thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee, Chairperson Steve McCarr, and the Minnesota Wrestling Coaches Association for recognizing me for this honor. And also thank you, Dan Anderson, for nominating me for this award. Congratulations to the others who are also being inducted today. I am aware of all of your accomplishments and your contributions to wrestling. Most of you I have followed for years, University of Minnesota wrestlers, as well as my fellow coaches. It's an honor to be included in your company. I know one does not necessarily receive awards like this unless they were surrounded by some outstanding people, and I'm fortunate to be surrounded by great people. First and foremost, I'd like to recognize my wife, Linda. Linda and I have been married for nearly 43 years, and she stood behind me and beside me, encouraged me in all those nearly 40 years of wrestling coaching. Also my children, Leah and Matthew, both are very supportive of my coaching. Leah was a high school basketball player, and so I missed a lot of her matches, or excuse me, there's a Freudian slip for you, right? And I'm sorry for that. My son Matt gave up basketball in junior high, came over from the dark side, and joined me on the mat, and had a very successful high school career. Also, tonight I want to mention a few other people that are here on my behalf. I've noticed, first of all, my brother Marv is here. My older brother Marv was a long-time teacher, very successful cross-country and track coach at Morris High School, and he also coached junior high wrestling there. Tonight I noticed former wrestlers Pete Schmidt, Steve Lynn, Matt Dowell. Guys, I probably learned a lot more from you than you ever did from me. Hall of Famer Roger Wilson is here along with his refereeing buddy Jim Repke. I swear to God, Roger probably refereed at least 50% of the matches that I ever coached. And never once did he make a bad call. You know? Not once. I'm also very pleased to see a lot of people here that I coached against. Jeff Mergen comes to mind right away. Ken Votes here. Randy Zimmer, I think among those three, I probably coached against him about 150 times. And it was always a pleasure. And Jay Johnson, I want to mention Jay as well. Also here tonight, teaching and coaching colleagues Dana and Al Oldall. Al is an award-winning teacher and coach from Albany High School. Dana is a speech coach at Albany High School. I've got a feeling she's critiquing my speech as I speak. Also Alex Yvonne, current high school wrestling coach at Albany. Current Albany Athletic Director Scott Bunchie, who keeps trying to talk me out of retirement. And worse than that, he sometimes succeeds. I also want to mention the two ADs that I spent most of my career coaching under, Pete Hergis and Jim Mater. Both of them are multiple Hall of Fame memberships and are outstanding people. And again, I want to thank Dan Anderson, a person who I've had a very unique relationship with over the years. First of all, he's an outstanding friend, a very good friend. Also was my assistant coach, as he mentioned, for many years. And then when I became athletic director, I was his assistant. So when you think about it, I was his boss and he was my boss at exactly the same time. And that could have presented quite a few problems. However, it speaks to Dan's character that not once did any issue ever come up in the way. Dan is passionate about what he does. He's passionate about wrestling. He's passionate about coaching and teaching. And he is a big part of Albany wrestling to this day. I can distinctly remember my introduction to this sport. When I was in elementary school, for some reason, my father announced at the dinner table that he was going to take my brother, actually it was Marv, and myself to a high school wrestling match. I had never seen a wrestling match before, but something about the competitive nature of it got me hooked right away. I was hooked for life. That's not what kept me in the sport, however. Over the years, I've had so many great relationships, met so many wonderful people, and that's really what keeps you going. A lot of friendships, a lot of great times, a lot of fun. As I look around this room, I see a lot of people who were really positively impacted by the sport of wrestling. But even more importantly than that, I see a lot of people who had a tremendous impact on young people and other people through their coaching, through their refereeing. You have served people, and to live a life of service for others is very much a life worth living. The Minnesota State High School League does that, and so does the Minnesota Wrestling Coaches Association. We serve people, try to get people to be better students, better athletes, but it's all about making other people better. The Minnesota Wrestling Coaches Association awards 5 or 6 $1,000 scholarships every year. I've been lucky enough over the last 10 years or so to be the chairperson of that committee. I'm able to read every year between 35 and 40 applicants. We read their applications, their letters of recommendation. And the accomplishments of these people are just unbelievable. It's humbling to see what these guys have done in 17 years of life that I haven't accomplished in my 60 years of life. It's just truly remarkable. But even more impressive than reading those applications are when those athletes, the student athletes, mention the tremendous impact that wrestling has had on their lives. And even more impressive is when you read the fact that the coaches that they've had have truly changed their lives forever. And so that is what makes me especially proud to receive this award and be part of this illustrious group. The Minnesota Wrestling Coaches Association is an outstanding organization. They serve people, and I'm proud to be a member of that organization. Thank you.